Morning, it's July 15th, 2023. I did get to mow my lawn yesterday. It's so hot here. We're here in Temecula, in a valley inland. Pacific Ocean is that way about 30 miles as a crow flies. And still it gets hot inland. And today's supposed to be like 105 degrees. The deal is I'm pretty sure the rear main seal is bad on this car. It's always kind of had a leak, and it does stuff like this. It drops maybe, you know, it's starting to pull up right there. It's a little bit of a slant here. So so it's parked at a slant. Engine oil is pushing up against that seal. The seal is old, so the oil works its way out and down. Yeah, and it basically kind of makes a mess. And I don't like it when cars drip oil, especially. I didn't mind it when I lived in an apartment. It wasn't my property, but try to keep it clean here. And plus, homeowner association will give you a fine, if you have oil leaking on your driveway. So there's that. Now I did call. It's my son's car. He's paying for repairs. I do the fixing, and he pays for it. I found a place here in town called Tech Star European Auto Repair. And I called a bunch of places, and they said, no, we don't touch those cars anymore. We don't touch those cars, So I said, call Peter. He works on those old Mercedes. And he's an older guy, probably, 75 or something. And he's got a real nice shop, real clean with lifts and everything. And he said $1,200 for rear main seal. That involves taking the transmission out. While the transmission is out, you might as well replace the front flex disc or both flex discs if you have to. There's a support bearing that you need to replace while you're in there. All the fluid has to be drained. New fluid. I think it was 12 quarts. About 10 years ago, I did a flush on it. I got it at 119,000 miles, now 147,000 miles. So I posted the question on Ben's World. Hey, guys. One person recommended, well, if you got 147,000 miles on that transmission and you got it out, you might as well replace it or rebuild it. And I'm like, oh my God. There's a place up north, Sun Valley Mercedes, and they specialize in these older Mercedes transmissions. Guys on Facebook, pretty cool. And what they do is you buy the transmission. They sent you a rebuild one in a crate. You send them the old one back. I forget the price, but I think it's like between $3,000, $3,500. So you figure that, add another 1,000, 45. So quickly you approach, a 5,000 mark. And my son's really not into that. I don't blame him. See, now here's a M103 engine. Besides, it's a 92 300E M103 straight 6. And here's one. And your rear main seal is behind this. If I was 30 years old again, I'd probably get a bunch of jack stands and do it myself. But you got to get the car way up off the ground to be able to slide that thing out of there. And it's got to be on a flat surface. Can't do it on this sloped driveway. So anyways, I've always seen On the other side of this oil filter bracket, I think down right along, there's a ledge right here. And I've always seen a little oil pooling up there. I clean it out, it comes back. I clean it out, it comes back. I go, well, it's, you know, when I change the oil filter, you unscrew it and oil comes out all over the place. I go, that's what it is. But very well could be. I looked this part up and there's a gasket here. There's 4 bolts that hold this bracket for the oil filter. There's 4 bolts there and there's a gasket that's like a buck. And if that gasket is bad and I'm leaking oil, the oil very could be rolling down this side here and just coming right to the bottom where the transmission bolts up and looking like a rear main seal. Now, I have tried the UV dye test. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong or what, but I put the UV dye test in twice. The stuff I bought off Amazon for engine oil. I even bought I got the flashlight and the goggles and everything. And I end up seeing fluorescent just like everywhere. You know, I can't really tell where it's coming from. So I even crawled under there last night and I said, oh my God, it's still it's like everywhere. So I'm gonna jack it up today and put a pipe band under there to hold it. Now I've seen Kent on a Mercedes Source and he goes, well, there's, you know, you get these old Mercedes and they're gonna have, you know, oil leaks, minor leaks and stuff, and you can't fix all of them. It's just too expensive. So you can do this, you know, there's a plastic belly pan that sits under these engines. I don't know what they're for, to maybe protect the bottom of the engine from road debris, I imagine. I take them off my cars because I want them to run really cool during the summer. It kind of, you know, helps with the cooling. But he says take that belly pan and screw in these absorbent pads that they sell on the internet. They're for oil spills. They come in sheets or a roll, and you just cut it and you screw it down to that belly pan, and all the oil will, you know, be on that absorbent pad, kind of like a diaper. And he says, well, every time you change your oil, every 3,000 miles, you just change that pad out and you don't have oil all over the ground. I go, oh, that's a good idea, but I think the pan stops right about here and the transmission starts right about here. I don't think the pan goes all the way to this area. If it does, that would be cool. But anyways, so I'm just gonna keep working on it. I really want to inspect this area here and see if there's, you know, I did a new head gasket, right? I don't see any oil around anything. I took a little inspection mirror and everything around here, it looks dry. I did the head gasket. Usually the other ones that leak really bad on this other side. This time it doesn't leak, you know, so that's what I'm gonna work on today. All right, I got it up. Okay. Let's take a look. Cramped, very cramped here. Okay, there's your transmission. Engine right here. Transmission right here. And you can see the leak dripping from there. Not if I can get my arm situated. Let's see if I can point this. Okay.
Hard to tell what's what here. That must be, I don't know. It's hard to see where the oil filter is. Good God. So, could be, where, that's the oil pan there. I don't think it's the oil pan. Wait a minute. So, you know, that's an oil pan. It sure is long. It's hard when you're upside down trying to figure what everything is. This side isn't too bad. Gosh darn, you know, I'm gonna have to try, if that's the oil pan. Let's go look at a picture of what the oil pan looks like. What's in here? Oh, that's, I think that's access to a drain plug for the torque converter. That's behind this part. The transmission pan looks nice and clean and non-leaking. It's just this one side. So I guess the only thing you can really do is just clean this off really good. Drive it and see where it's leaking from. But sometimes it takes a while for it to accumulate this bad. Now, if I was to put a pan under here, which would be maybe easier than having to take everything apart, but if that's the oil pan, it's a huge oil pan. How the hell do you get it out of there? Jesus. God. No way. That is the oil pan? The whole length of the engine? I don't know. I don't know. And you go replace all that, and then it's the rear main seal. But you know, I don't see how all this oil gets up in here and over to the middle. Then there's oil right here, the air conditioning compressor. And what that's all about. This one big ass oil pan goes the whole length of the engine. If you had to replace the gasket on that. Holy smokes. So many bolts.
Oh my God, there's the oil pan. Look at how many fasteners there are everywhere. Oh boy, so if it is the oil pan leaking, which it can be, it's a horrible job. This oil pan has been referred to as the singularly most secured oil pan in automotive history. It has something like 43 bolts holding it on. There's a ridiculous amount of fasteners on the pan. Oh my Pelican Parts how to. They suggest that you have to lift the engine up a little bit, and they suggest getting a what is it? An engine hoist. You believe that? Get an engine hoist. Rent an engine hoist. 5-hour job. You know. First, I'm going to clean the whole thing really good and make sure it's not the oil pan. If it is, it's one of the worst jobs you can do on this car, they say. I've been reading different posts on Ben's World, and it's like, oh my God, that's the worst possible job you could ever do. It's not like, I'll just do a couple of bolts here and there's the pan. No. You got to lift the engine so that the sump will clear the frame. Nightmare. God. Well, it finally cooled off. It's only 88 degrees at 7 o'clock at night. So I've been under there for about the last 45 minutes. I got my little Wagner cleaner with a pistol grip, full strength zip, assorted stiff brushes, wire brushes, and I'm just cleaning the oil pan from front to back. Doing the back right now so I can work my way this way and then not roll into a bunch of grease from the front. And I'm just concentrating on all the bolts all the way around. I want those really cleaned to see if there's a leak there. One guy on the forum said that he had a oil pan leak, and another guy I guess a lot of people have oil pan leaks on these cars. It's a dreaded job. Nobody wants to do it. Okay. It's getting there. Just get my little wand. Oh, I gotta crawl under. Hold on. Wipe it down a little bit. Just keep working at it. Oh, crawling under is so archaic. But it does the job. Kinda. Yeah, there's the oil pan right there. There, I got my light. Good Lord. This is not easy. Oh, it's getting better. Okay. So I have it pretty clean. I mean, it's probably the cleanest it's been in 30 years. I tightened these little 10 millimeters and then 13 millimeters. Some of them were just a little bit, and I mean, they were still tight, but just a little, they weren't completely loose, so, see how that goes. I got the front, both sides. Yeah. So I see a lot of
God, it's hard moving around over here. I see a lot of oil kind of accumulated right where that fastener is. Oh, God. And the oil filter. See if I can zoom in on it. Let's see. Huh? Yeah, the oil filter is up there. The camera's not picking it up. Maybe right there, that black thing that's right there. That's the oil filter. And it's kind of, you know, it was kind of greasier on this side. The other side, I didn't have to clean a whole lot. So, God. You can see there's still a lot of crud up there. Couldn't get to it. And I don't know, maybe that's just, you know, when you change your oil filter and some comes out and drips down. So, it's hard because it's hard to get up here. God, that's a starter right there. It's amazing. Okay. Okay, so everything is clean down there. So I got some UV dye here. Let's pour it in. This was about $18. I got 2 bottles this time because this thing takes almost 8 quarts of oil. Yeah, I use this for up to 5 quarts. You use one of these 1 ounce, and then if it's more, I know the first time I tried this, I don't know, a year ago or something, it didn't work that good. I mean, it worked, but it was kind of weak. It was hard to tell. And I said, well, maybe I didn't add enough of it. And sure enough, there's so much oil in these cars. Same with the SL. It takes a whole lot of oil. So this will tell us if we have a rear main seal leak, which I think what we do. But this will confirm it. Everything is nice and clean under there. And then I just have this UV light and some yellow glasses. And this will tell us, it'll hopefully show us. I don't know how long we have to drive it, but I imagine if you'll drive it a couple miles, especially when everything is warmed up. It's weird. It's it's orange, and I think last time when I mixed it with the oil, once it mixes, it turns kind of green. So we'll see. Telling you, my body is thrashed from being under there, and you're like this close, steamy cleaning. You know, it's crazy. Anyways, it's turning out to be a nice evening. 88 degrees. All right. I'm under the car. Let's see if I can. You can see the green. Let's get this. And it's coming from up high, running down to right there, and dripping Right there.
Okay, now we're up top, so it is on this side of the engine. And it's, okay, let's try the light. You see, I don't really see anything on the top of the engine. I mean, there's a little bit of fluorescence, but that's old. Gosh darn it. Where's it coming from? Oh. Wait a minute. Okay. See that spot down there? Let's see if I can zoom in. Oh. Hard to focus. So that spot right there is the oil sender. Yeah. God, not only did the oil sender needs to be replaced, come on, focus. That oil sender, I think it's like a year old. One of my videos. This is the second oil sender that I bought from FCP Euro. It's a Merrill company that sold out to China, German company. You look at one of my videos and the box when I'm installing it, it says Germany. And then on the side, it's got a sticker put on it that says made in China. So I need to buy another one because the gauge, oh, weird. Okay, the gauge it goes up, then immediately drops to zero for the rest of the time you're driving. So I contacted them, told them the story. I said, yeah, this is the second crappy one that you sold me. And they said, oh, just buy another one, send it back, we'll cover your cost. Send you a new one. So I said, okay, well, I want to get the VDO one because it's got good reviews. It's made in South Africa. And I looked on their website. I was going to buy it last night. I looked on their website, out of stock. So, and that's a $75 sender. That's what the dealer charges. The one that's in here is $40. The one they have available right now is $23, and that's some weird ass, I don't know, I think it's Phoebe or, you know. I saw it. I ran my finger across up there, and I was going, that's fresh oil that just, you know, and it was totally clean before. And you can see it's all the way down, and it looks like a rear main seal. So you gotta, you know, you really gotta clean everything off, do the dye test. You might still have a rear main seal leak, might still have an oil pan leak. But at least if I fix this one, it'll be one less leak, I guess. All right, it's now a couple days later. It is July 20th. Trying to recover from food poisoning. I had to take my wife hour and a half away to a medical facility and drop her off for a couple weeks where she's at to get something done. On the way home, I stopped at a taco shop. And then the taco gave me the worst food poisoning all day yesterday. I was just like, oh my God. So anyways, this is the oil filter housing bracket There's the oil sender. And you've got 1, 2, I think that's 3, and that's 4. I got my parts, about $83 worth. And here's the new Victor Rhines gasket, I believe. This was like $1.89. So I'm trying to look at the orientation. So it looks like it goes like that. And I want to see if I can replace that. And there's really no instructions I could find on the internet on how to replace it. I guess there's 4 bolts holding it on, and they're all Allen. Kind of looks like maybe a 6. And they're really hard to get to. So I've seen where one guy took his car to a mechanic, and the mechanic said, there was like, you've got to take the intake manifold off. You may have to lift the engine a little bit. I never really read anywhere on any post where they actually successfully did it, but then again, maybe these just don't leak that bad anymore, or don't leak that bad. That's where your oil filter screws onto. Yeah, I guess probably this one here, you can't. This is probably in the way, or maybe with some of those wobbly socket adapters. Here's the VDO. Oil pressure. Part number. Where is it made? It doesn't say. Well, at least it's 623. It's pretty new. You'd think that they would give you a new washer for that price. There's no washer in the bag. So, So I'm looking at this again. There's your oil sender. Looks like you got 1 bolt here, 1 behind this, and then 2 on the other side. I don't know what goes into this right here. Maybe it's just the oil filter leak. It could be this leaking, it could be this leaking, or it could be the gasket leaking. But I think it's always had that leak, and I've replaced, every oil change, a new filter, and I've replaced, this will be the 3rd time that I'm replacing that. Just don't buy that other brand. I got it on FCP Euro. I'm gonna send the old one back and get reimbursed, but I think it was $40. This one was like $75, $80. They had one for the Phoebe one for $23, but most likely it's made in China. I don't know what the dealer one is. It's probably $100 or something. But it's a pretty simple part, and but this is what it looks like, and I imagine whatever it is leaking down here and then going down and making it look like a rear main seal leak. Let's see. No, go this way. Here's the engine. I believe this is an M103. What a nightmare this intake. Some people have taken the I read in post that taking the intake manifold out to get to the one bolt. I don't really want to do that. I mean, I guess I could. It's a matter of probably disconnecting everything, undoing all the bolts holding it on. I have to get a new gasket. And then underneath, there's these little braces that kind of hold it up. I think there's 2 of them. And you've got to undo the bolts. Really hard to get to, maybe from the bottom. There's your starter, and the starter's all in the way of everything. So, my project today, supposed to be 104 today, like killer July heat wave. And it is, it's 7:30. I'm gonna try to work on it. It's pretty hard to get any work done when it's that hot outside. So that's the plan, man. That's pretty professional looking, isn't it? I'm trying to hook something up so I can get some shade. Once the sun gets about right up here, it should be better, but it's just getting really hot. Here's the 2 oil senders. See if I can. Can't really use that. That's the one that's bad. You can see the ripples right here. Just doesn't look like a well-made part, where this one, I don't see any ripples. So that's where it might be leaking right there. That could be the whole problem. Okay, for the oil sender crush washer, this is the one that came off of the old unit. And it fits perfectly on the new unit. But I read this. Crush washer. In the past, if a crush washer is solid copper and is not tragically scraped or damaged, I followed this procedure to reuse the old one using a MAP gas or propane flame to heat the copper washer until it has very slight glow. 3, quench the heated washer in a cup of water. I'd read about this method many years ago and used it on the same oil drain washer on my 1984 Peugeot many times with no leaks. After, again, you have to start with something not very damaged. So that's good to know. I'll try that. Try heating it up. Let's see if this works. Okay, I got my washer on, and I put a couple turns of Teflon silicone or Teflon tape. It's like plumbing tape. Everybody on the internet says Teflon tape, and that'll hopefully help with the seal. Got that washer on there. Hopefully it should be leak free. I've decided to abandon that for now. I know I can get it off, but I'd have to remove this thing probably, the intake manifold, and maybe the starter, maybe just the intake manifold if I had to. So I got the oil sender on. It's good and tight. And I'll just put the oil filter back on and button it up and start it. But it is now, what is it? It's 100 degrees out here. I'm gonna go inside and work on it later, man. It's just like cooking. All right, now it's just a waiting game. Looks good. Let's see, we got oil pressure. Oh. And we've got oil pressure. That's good. It's like 9 o'clock at night and it is 90 degrees out. Got good oil pressure. Getting it warmed up. Got my driveway all cleaned up. Cleaned that oil pan that was dripping on. Cleaned that all up with gasoline so I can park this thing and look for leaks. What joy, huh? It's a lot of work, I'm telling you. And then shining it up. Oh, you can do it. There. Okay, can we see? We don't see, we still see some, but it's old. I steam clean everything, so that's just old stuff, but it's not that bright green. And there's nothing at the end right there where the rear main seal was. So I think we fixed that. Thank God I don't have to take that bracket apart. We'll see in a week and see if it leaks again. I'm sure it'll have some other kind of leak, but not as bad as what it was. Yay! Now let's take a look at the top side. Yeah, there's nothing horrible. Yeah. There's nothing horrible down here. Just see a little bit of stuff, but it's not bright. It's not bright green. So in closing, I hope we have that leak solved. For now, I think we do. It'll take a couple days if anything's going to surface. And if that leak comes back, I'll update this video or make a new one and try to fix that one. At least we didn't have to take the intake manifold off for that devil bracket for the air filter. Anyways, everybody have a nice, cool summer. I'll see you later.